In fact, I was present in the hall when Mr. Professor was actually halfway down into his speech. And Professor was trying to explain to this audience as to why globalization, the way it is practiced, was not working in India. My other presentation will be to tell you why globalization is not working even in America. The fundamental assumption of globalization is it is a success. We don't critique it. We assume that it is a success. We assume that we have to, if we have to be successful, we have to follow the globalization model. So we don't discuss, we don't debate, we don't discuss, we don't actually critique it at all. Take it for granted that this is a model that we have to follow. And in the process, globalization as a subject becomes highly undebated, uncritiqued, ununderstood, misunderstood, misrepresented by everybody. It is like six blind men looking at the elephant and each one trying to define the elephant in his own way. So what is this globalization all about? It is a term, if you type it in Google with globalization, Z-A-T-I-O-N, you will hit more number of web pages than globalization with S-A-T-I-O-N. Even in the English language, in the word that you use as globalization, there is a difference. The English spoken by the American is different from the English spoken by the Englishman, which is different from the English spoken by the Australians, Zimbabweans, or the New Zealanders. Now the vista of windows has even brought the Indian English. So there are so many differences in the English language. But we are not concerned about that. We are not into the philosophy of globalization. We are not into the negative aspects of globalization, which Mr. Professor has spoken very heavily today. And I will be on the other end of globalization. The success, the seeming success of globalization is its failure. That is the idea which I will present to you today. What is the seeming success of globalization? The seeming success of globalization is America. I am not going to do any American bashing. In fact, my objective in my life, if at all I have one, is to save America from this globalization. To understand this globalization, you require a bit of understanding of what a small pawn shop owner is doing. If I ask a bunch of students in a school or a college, wherever I go for my lectures, even to chambers of commerce, and I ask them, sir, between America and India, which is a rich country and which is a poor country? Between America and China, which is a rich country, which is a poor country? The answer is China or India is a poor country, America is a rich country. I am sure many of you in the audiences will also have the same perspective or same idea about America and same idea about India or China, as the case may be. But in our common language, a rich person is a person who pays or gives or donates or lends money to the poor person, and the poor person is a person who receives or gets or begs or loans money from the rich person. This is the common definition of a common man. But it is exactly the opposite in the globalization sphere. Meaning, it is India, China, Japan, South Korea, Thailand, Vietnam, Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia, Pakistan, Bangladesh, UAE, Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Iran, you name every country, they are lending money to America. They are lending money to America at the rate of $2 billion, that is 8,000, 9,000 crores every day. And if these people don't lend money to America, America will collapse. That is globalization. It is the rich country which is getting money from the poor country, and the poor country which are lending to the rich country, and that goes on by the appellation of globalization. And in fact, when this fundamental paradigm is put before people, they are shocked. But the fact of the matter is, America requires something around $800 to $1,000 billion to survive, and that capital it gets it from the rest of the world. How does it work? This requires some explanation. America is like a huge finance company which wants to cheat. So how does a finance company which wants to cheat works? It will set up a fantastic office. It will have a 40 by 40 reception with a very beautiful receptionist. So when you enter the reception, they will say, sir, Swarna Ganga scheme, Swarna Lakshmi scheme, all these schemes, 25% rate of interest, 30% rate of interest, and you will be dazzled, just like this light is dazzling my eyes. You will be dazzled and you cannot see anything in front of you, and you will be virtually forced to lend your money into that company. And the owner of that company will actually come in a Mercedes Benz. He will not give you time. He will say, I don't have time, more than 2 minutes. And you will think that this man is so rich. Obviously he is making money by the tons. And you poor guy, you have put 5 lakh rupees of your pension or your provident fund that you want to park it with him so that it comes to 7 lakhs or 8 lakhs at the end of 2 years or 3 years. So you part with the money very easily, looking at the credit worthiness of the person, the grandiose posture that he makes before you. You don't look into the Mercedes-Benz RC book that is hypothecated to Canara Bank. You don't look into the receptions, hall, rent not paid for more than 6 months. What do? You give it to that fellow. With that fellow, he will write the EMI for that Mercedes-Benz for that month. With that money, he will pay the rent for that office. You are blinded by its credit worthiness. America is like that. When you look at America, they only show their credit worthiness. And they show their credit worthiness in not only by building their infrastructure. They will be the first to go to the moon. They will have to do it. It will not only be that they will have to go to the moon. They will write the rules of the WTO. They will write the rules of IMF. They will write the rules of World Bank. It is not that they are doing it for anything else. It is for their own self-preservation. They are got into a black hole. And if they don't do it, they are doomed. If they correct it, they are damned. This is the problem of America. I will explain to you. Now look at it. What is happening with this? Our total GDP, suppose it is 100 rupees. We spend 68 rupees, consume 68 rupees out of it, and save 32 rupees. China saves 50. Singapore saves 50. Japan is around 15. Korea is around 20, 22. Various countries in the East Asia save 20, 22, 50, 45, whatever be their various demographic profile allows them, they save. So that is why they have capital. What does America do? Out of 100 rupees it earns or produces, it spends 107 rupees. That is the spending of America. So what happens? Where does this money come from? How does it manage? It is very simple. All of us are only savings economy, so nobody is a great consuming economy. Of course, I will come to the distinction at a later part of my presentation. But suffice you can state, the whole of Asia, which is an export-oriented economy, is a savings economy. And the $300 billion reserve that the RBI holds today represents our collective savings in one form or the other. China has got a saving of 1.6 trillion. Japan close to 1 trillion. The world has got $4 trillion worth of reserves. Students of accountancy will tell you, if somebody has got a credit, somebody will have a debit. Who is that somebody who has got this debit? If I have $4 trillion worth of reserves,